Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to the United Stand. Don't worry, I'm sorry for being late. I've not been kidnapped by the Glazers yet. It's just such a busy time, and I think at the moment sometimes doing content is the hardest thing because there's so much going on, so many conversations, so much going on, and obviously as these things come to pass we will let you know and keep you updated. But look, we're live. We're going to be talking about Solskjaer's betrayal. I haven't spoken since his press conference. Cracking job by Owen and Flex this afternoon. We're talking about that. Loads going on. Obviously some updates on quite a few things. Let me just go through a list. Removing the chairman. Ollie's going to be here for a while. What he said about man management. What he said about the future. Also potentially removal of quite a lot of people from Manchester United Football Club. Lots and lots to get into. But I thought realistically, the first thing I wanted to talk about is what Solskjaer said today. And reading between the lines, and I always read between the lines, I think when there's always a message hidden behind a message. And I think Solskjaer exposed today, if you put two of his sentences together, the utter betrayal by the Glazers of not only the fans, but of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself. He sort of contradicted himself in two separate areas. And when you put them together, what it does show you is a total and utter betrayal in that sense. But look, first of all, just want to say, we've not done one of these for a while. We are sponsored by CardsPlug today. I'm sure many of you will have seen on a lighter note the absolutely fantastic card that's out there from FIFA for Wan-Bissaka at the moment. Well, we've got our own one here. Well, this is my one. You can't have this one. Although you could have this one because you can put any picture you want on there. You can put your favourite YouTube Manchester United presenter of the United Stand. Or you could put yourself on there. You could put your gran on there. You could put Ed Woodward on there if you want. You could turn it in. It might not be a card. It could turn into something else. You could put the Glazers on there. You could put any player you want to put on there. You can put your own stats on here as well. Your badges. These new United Stand type backgrounds that they've got, and also your name, whatever. Links in the video description for it. But they're giving you 40% off at CardsPlug. These are fantastic. I've got about 6 of these now. You can actually get them in green and gold. I can't put the green and gold one is really nice. But as you can see with the yellow already, because I use a green screen, it's starting to disappear a little bit. The green and gold ones are brilliant. Check them out on the website. You get 40% off with the code United Stand. Really durable cards. They can go up on your wall. You can, put them on your fridge if you want. Remind everybody how goated you are. But the link's in the video description for that. Big shout out to CardsPlug. And as I said, they're available in these new designs. But you can get the normal backgrounds like that. Then they're pretty decent as well. The more traditional style. But they've got the new sort of United Stand range out there at the moment, and we did ask for green and gold, and we asked 4 weeks ago when they designed them, so you can get the green and gold ones as well. Links in the video description. 40% off, a massive 40% off for United Stand viewers with the code United Stand. Check it out through the link in the video description. Talking about green and gold, we're talking about the Glazers tonight. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has spoken to the press today. What was your 10 pace? I mean, I am probably 10 pace now. My back's like Dembolence's hamstrings. It's made of breadsticks. It's a problem, but there's meant to be a grudge match between me and Thogdad, but there'll have to be a lot of defibrillators and oxygen on the side. I think we're getting on a bit, but look, let's get on with the show. A bit of comedy is always good. A bit of a smile after the week that we've had. I enjoyed doing the FIFA Reacts thing actually on my channel. But look, seriously, what did you think about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference today? What did you think about it? Massive week. I've not read all the quotes, and you might, for Chris Walker, thanks for joining the members club. It'd be very difficult to get the Glazers 100% out in one hit, but the reduction to 49% is what we're looking for, says Joshua Bauer. Yes. I just want a big shout out as well. Obviously, we're now aware of this big protest on the 2nd, which is the one I always wanted to happen. I said it at the start of the week. The best day to do it for me was Liverpool. And that was before I knew it was going to be organised. Obviously, a lot of organisation is still going on for that. But the reason I felt the Liverpool game was the better one is because Liverpool versus Manchester United Old Trafford is the biggest game of the season. All the TV, all the worldwide TV will be there anyway. To do that like Arsenal did tonight, I thought Arsenal's was very good actually. And I think Man United's one on the 2nd is going to be massive. And that's, it's going to be organised. It's the right day. It's the right event. It's the right impact. That is why personally, I think that's going to be really, really important. But also, for these people who say you're not promoting the one tomorrow, this is bullshit. I've mentioned it 2 days ago. I've mentioned it on Twitter. It's been retweeted. It's been mentioned. There is no preference. Nobody's saying one's better than the other. If you want to go tomorrow, nobody's stopping you. But you can't force everybody to go and do everything that you want to do in life. There's so much going on behind the scenes, and it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So chill out. The most important message here is to stay unified. I was watching the Webby and O'Neill channel tonight, and they were mentioning on there about unity. It's so important. If we can't keep unity in this fan base because people want to argue about who's a bigger fan and this, that and the other, we're going to fail. Don't fall into it. I've been calling people out today on social media who are being negative and trying to cause it. I will call it out every time I see it. It's not about being a victim. It's not about trying to undermine people. What I'm trying to do is keep unity in the fan base, and I will talk to anybody. People who have had issues within the past, I've been speaking to. You wouldn't believe the things and conversations I've been having. There's a lot of people with the same mentality I've got, that unity is key. And the minute you start seeing people dividing in our fan base, if you pick a side, you're a fool. You need to be trying to build those things. You need because there's troublemakers on social media. We know there are. There's people out there for themselves on social media. It's about views, it's about clicks, it's about retweets. We know that. That's the world we live in on social media. I'm not criticizing it. It is the world we live in. But if you see it, call it out and try and calm it down, because we need to be unified 100%. If you're going tomorrow, good luck. If you're going on the 2nd of May, good luck. If you're going to both, good luck. If you can't go to both, but you're going to be doing other things, good luck. It cannot be the time to victimize people or call people out or say you're not doing enough, because you never know what's going on and you never know the circumstances. So stick together, and if you're going to shout and moan about unity, not division. And as I said, I was watching the Webby and O'Neill show tonight, and they were talking about unity, and they were absolutely spot on, because unity is not it's like saying you're a nice person because you're nice to 9 people but you're a complete arsehole to the 10th. That's not being a nice person, because you failed on the 10th person. Unity is not bringing 8 groups together but ignoring 2. Unity is bringing everybody together. That's what we need. And look, what they were talking about, and what I agree with, is should unity actually be beyond? You see what Arsenal's done tonight. You see what Chelsea did the other night. You see what Manchester United are looking to maybe do tomorrow and on the 2nd. Unity goes beyond Manchester United. I saw something today, and I called it out, that the Premier League clubs, the 14 Premier... We're going to get onto Solskjaer, but of course there's lots to talk about. The 14 clubs that were not part of the Super League want the 6 clubs to remove their chairman and their CEOs. And everyone's like, oh yeah, go for it. That means Woodward and everyone like that. And I said, but that's the wrong... I'm sorry to be controversial here, but I'm going to call that out and say it's wrong. Getting rid of Chelsea's CEO, Man City's CEO, Arsenal CEO, Man United CEO, Liverpool Spurs CEO, great. But they are not in charge. They don't own the club. They're being directed by the owners. Now, to me, it just feels like having a fall guy. You get this a lot you get it in Game of Thrones, you get it in real life. Sometimes there's got to be a fall guy. Someone's got to take the hit. And it just feels to me that the CEOs who deserve to take the hit are going to take the hit, sack them, replace them, but the owners still stay in place. And that's what they were talking about unity on the Webby and O'Neill channel, is that the unity actually, does it stop at Manchester United? Or does it stop with the 6? Should there still be things going on between Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United fans jointly? And that seems to have stopped. And even I said that a couple of nights ago. We all go our own way now and focus on our own clubs. But, we're all in a very, very similar situation. I watched the Arsenal protest tonight and I was like, I really hope they get Kroenke out. I'm really behind the Arsenal fans. I'm really behind the Liverpool fans, because we're all in that same boat, and yet we're all off doing our individual battles. So I personally agree with them. I think that there should be unity between all clubs, but we're already starting to show cracks that we can't stay united in our own fan base, and it's so important, so important that we do that. So look, all I would say, and I don't normally ask for anything, people disagree with me, that's fine, that's the way it is. But my message to you is, do not get frustrated with each other. Stay unified. I know it's a new concept for us. It definitely is. Take a deep breath, and instead of putting your energy into picking sides or arguing or saying or somebody, take a deep breath and try and be nice. Try and solve these issues. Try and call out. If someone's having a pop at somebody and you tweet them back or something like that, and you say, we're meant to be united, put it aside and focus on what's really important. They haven't really got a comeback. Because if they come back with, oh, no, you know, they're a fucking idiot, this, that and the other, they just make themselves look stupid. So, look, we've got to stay united. There cannot be divisions. Because the minute you pick a side, like imagine if I go tonight, you know that Must lot, which I'm not, by the way, but you know that Must lot, or the Red Army, or the Webby and O'Neill channel, or whatever, a bunch of knobheads, their ideas, no good. The United Stand idea is the best. They're a bunch of idiots, we're the best. Some of you who like this channel will listen to me and think they're a bunch of idiots. And we're split. That's no good. The journey we're going to go on, we need everybody together. We cannot allow the split. So you might have loyalties to people and go, well, they're starting an argument, so I'm going to stick with them. Don't do it. Do not do it. Don't fall into that trap. We've got to stay united and unified behind this, because I'm telling you now, there's a lot of things going on that will come out when they need to come out, that it's important that they're kept quiet, and we're going to need everybody behind it. And trust me on it. It's the only thing I'll ask. Do everything you can to keep people together and stop divisions in the fan base, because if we can do that, it's something we've never done. And anyone who's watched this channel for a long period of time, we've spoken about Glazers in the past, and I've always been quite negative about it, because I've said, look, I want the Glazers out, but we'll never get it done because we're too divided. And we've got this opportunity here that's brought people together and realised that being together is important. We must stick together. Tim Sherwood was saying we should move on now. Let's not go on at the owners now. Ian Wright disagreed with this. Tim Sherwood, whatever. Who is he? He's just a bloody ex-footballer who managed the football club. At the end of the day, prime ministers, owners of... Look, the owners of Manchester United, Arsenal and Liverpool, three of the most powerful people in football, they're a bunch of prats, and they've outed themselves this week. It just goes to show footballers, owners, managers, pundits, their opinion's no better than yours. Everybody is accountable. Everybody is capable of making mistakes. Mark, I just realised that if the protest on the 2nd of May happens, it will be the first time Cavani, Telles, Van der Beek will experience the United fans and passion. Yes, Cask Attack, yes. That's the consequences of being the biggest club in the world, where there's bound to be internal conflict. We have to stick together through and love from USA. Thank you very much. Well, look, thank you for everyone who's tuning in. Make sure you smash a like on the video. I want to get into Ollie's comments. It's taken a few minutes to get here, but there's so much going on. I think it's really important that you are kept up to date with what's going on. And there is a responsibility when you've got 7,000 people watching to just tell you what's important. And the only message, because I could give you 10 different messages and you'll forget them. The most important one is unity. If you see people attacking each other, tell them to stop. Tell them to stick together. Don't pick sides. It's really important. Hi Mark, loved your shirt today, and his Grand Theft Auto today, mate. I've missed it, says Eddie. I'm not sure if it's back tonight, Eddie. It's been a really tough week. I want to do it, but look, you know, there's so much going on. My phone doesn't stop. There's emails, there's messages. It's at the moment, it's pushing me to get content out on the United Stand. There's that much going on, but it's all very important work. I don't particularly like Arsenal, but I thought the way Robbie was treated was disgusting, disgraceful. Mainstream media flipping the issue as purse, as Jake Marshall. So yeah, just on that one, because it is a super chat. Robbie went on a national radio station in the UK this morning from AFTV. He wanted to talk about the issue with Kroenke, and basically Ray Parlour, who's an ex-Arsenal player, with a little grin on his face, I think, was just winding him up, saying that, well, you want Arsenal to lose. It's all about clicks and views for you. And you could see Robbie getting frustrated. But the tactics of Ray Parlour, I would liken them to someone like Tony Pulis. And Robbie's response was very much Pep. He absolutely schooled him, because Robbie just kept saying, what are you on about? What are you on about? We're here to talk about change of Arsenal. So look, you've got to be careful. The media's going to spin. Not all. There are some good journalists out there that won't spin, but they have to, because they're in the pockets of these companies that own them, and they will be like Tim Sherwood. Time to move on now. We need another story. I know. Let's spin it that the Super League was actually really good. There's still stuff coming out about Ed Woodward being a good guy. We saw this morning that there was a story coming out that lots of Man United employees are gutted that Ed's moving. He didn't know anything about the Super League. And I think that's really dangerous, because one thing I will say, and I've said it before, Ollie, the players, the coaches, the staff at Manchester United, they're not guilty of anything. They're good people. They've been let down by their owners. But when you associate those employees with being disappointed about Ed Woodward, we know Ed Woodward is behind this. We know the Glazers are behind this. Do not attach good people in Manchester United to sympathy towards Ed Woodward. It's spin. I don't know why there's spin around Ed Woodward, but it's spin. He knew what was going on. He's got to take the price. I don't know why they're trying to get us to like Ed Woodward again as a CEO. It won't work. Just let him resign and move on. Why are we wasting paper space on Ed Woodward? As I said yesterday, if he didn't know we were going into the Super League, what was he doing for 3 years as CEO? Making the tea, putting the bin out? I mean, come on. We should call the Glazers, they're like an ice giant cat pressing everything down. The glaciers. Okay, P. Good point. Welcome to Members Club, Goose. And what do you think about the City fans in this situation, Mark? It's not like they have a lot of fans to protest. They won't, Michael. The City fans and Chelsea fans, I think, are quite happy with their owners. So, you know... But the problem with it's not my problem to talk about City and Chelsea, but the problem they've got is they've got very good rich owners at the moment, but that can change. What about their next owners? What if they're like the Glazers and then they didn't fight for 50+1? If I was a City fan and I was a Chelsea fan, I would still fight for 50+1 because you're getting your club back into the fans. You know, to not want to do that because you want to keep your rich owner, well, you know, that's up to you. The Arsenal protest ends and the CEO of Spotify has declared he wants to buy Arsenal. Stay together, guys, says Gunnar Mo. Did you hear about Ryan Giggs, Oliver? Well, look, you've put it. I'm not going to ignore this. I don't really want to talk about it because it's not football related, but I knew people would ask it, and you know me, I won't avoid a difficult question. So Ryan Giggs is suspended as Wales manager, which is the football angle here, because of allegations of I think common assault, of which he's been charged with today by the police. You might not understand the legal system in this country, but charged doesn't mean you're guilty. Charged means you're going to go to court for a trial at court. And if you get found guilty there, then you could get a fine, you could go to prison, you could get a suspended sentence. I firmly believe in innocent until proven guilty. I know a lot of people have acted quite angrily to this, and it's been all over social media about this, that and the other. I choose not to do that because the crimes are not good. If he gets found guilty of them, the crimes are not good. In fact, they're abhorrent. But because it involves, obviously, you know, assaulting people, which is never good, especially of the opposite sex. But in life, there's always two sides to a story, and you're always innocent until you're proven guilty. So I don't agree with people being, judge and jury before a case has even happened. And what I would say is, you've got to be careful with this sort of thing because you act like it's that, and then you get horrible things happen, like what happened with Caroline Flack, who was charged but hadn't been to court yet. And obviously we know she took her own life. And I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but what I'm saying is then that happens and everyone goes, oh, it's tragic. You know, she wasn't even found guilty of it. So you've just, I know it's difficult. It goes back to what I was talking about before. Unity in our fan base at the moment is really important in relation to the Glazers, and you know, sort of getting rid of your anger and everything like that. Whatever happens with Ryan Giggs happens with Ryan Giggs, you know, and if he's found guilty, then he's going to have to face the criticisms. Of course he is. But I choose at the moment to just live by the law, which is innocent until proven guilty. And what I'd also say as well is, what a player does on the pitch should always be about what a player does on the pitch. I've always said this. It goes along with a little bit of, you know, it's not always good to meet your idols. Now, if you meet me, I'll be a nice guy. You know, I'll have a picture with you. You've got 5 seconds and then you've got to go. I'm joking. But the reality is, I've met a lot of people, especially in football, who are, you love them on the pitch and you meet them off the pitch and you think, oh, that's disappointing. That is disappointing. So, look, somebody on the pitch, what they do on the pitch in a Manchester United shirt is what they do on the pitch in a Manchester United shirt. It doesn't mean they're going to be Juan Mata off the pitch, who is a genuinely brilliant guy. So, you know. What did Ollie say? Says Ollie. We've got to get onto that. Thank you. Hi, Mark. When you do Leeds versus Man United preview, I'm going to protest with my family. Glazers out. Says Man United 675. Okay. I think the preview's tomorrow for Leeds against Manchester United. Tomorrow morning, I think. There's plenty of things that foreign fans can do. Do not worry. I'm fully aware of that. I know that, and I'm very, very vocal about this with anybody I speak to. The lifeblood of Manchester United is the home and away fans, and a lot of those will be local fans, and they are the lifeblood of this football club, and they have the respect and support of all of the United fan base. But if we just focused on the local fans, we would not have a fan base, because the global fan base dwarfs it. You've got to have your global fan base. This goes back to the 50s, You know, my granddad supported Manchester United because he fell in love with what Matt Busby was doing with young players coming into Manchester United and building an exciting side. And those young players were coming from the northeast, like Sir Bobby Charlton, and from the Midlands, like Duncan Edwards. This was happening in the 1950s. That's 60 years ago. So this argument about locality against global fans is ridiculous, because there's lots of people that have supported Manchester United outside of Manchester for decades. And we need that global fan base, and you will be involved. So don't worry. I know it's ridiculous in this current climate for you to fly in from all over the world for a protest. But I know that in your thousands, in your millions, you would love to be there, and you will be involved. So don't worry. You will be involved. There'll be things that you can do. There's loads you can do. A protest in itself sometimes is a little bit, it's just about the cameras. Does it hurt the Glazers? Not really. But there are things we can do that the foreign fans can get involved in. And the global fans, well, that's sort of the same term, isn't it? But there's lots you can get involved in. You are part of this. You're a massive part of this. And in some ways, you're the bigger part of this, because there's more of you. There's way more of you than can be at any protest. So you're massively important, and you will be involved. Patience is what I would say. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. Mark, we would love to have you join our consortium. We've inboxed soccerboxtv. We're mobilising our connections to raise 4 billion, says USD DAC. You see, United shares decentralised. I don't trust any of this sort of stuff. You need to get into the proper conversation, because I don't trust any of this sort of put your money into this sort of thing. We've got to do things properly. A bit off topic, but what was it like before Glazers? I was born in 2001, so I'm not too sure how stuff was like at the club before then, says Liam. And if you could take one former United player back, who would you? Oh, God. What's your favourite meal? What do you do when you brush your teeth? I mean, Dragon King, it's not your fault, but I think the live comments can tell you what player I would bring back if I could bring one player back. It's the question I've been asked more than anything. Check the live comments, they'll answer it for you. Right, let's get on to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was interviewed this afternoon, as we all know, and the title of the show is Solskjaer Betrayed by the Glazers. I think he has been betrayed by the Glazers. I think we know he's been betrayed by the Glazers. But there was 2 statements from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today that really showed, I don't know whether he was doing it on purpose. I'm not saying he was doing it on purpose, but he contradicted himself and exposed how betrayed he has been by these owners. And sometimes a manager or a player in the situation they are, they cannot come out. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comes out and says, the Glazers are the worst thing to happen to Manchester United, they are a cancer to football, and I can't effing stand them, Ollie will be at the protest tomorrow or next week, because he will be out of a job. So he can't do that. But what you can do is you can twist your words and you can dress it up, and you can basically tell the fans that you're with them. He did that anyway in a very blunt way. But what he did say is, I've got a good relationship with the owners. I speak to them and they listen. That sounds a bit pro the owners, doesn't it? It's not necessarily that. Good relationship with the owners. I speak and they listen. But what he also said is, I'm very happy that they listened to the fans in relation to this Super League idea. It's a bad concept and it doesn't have any sporting merit. If you plug those 2 things together, I've got a good relationship with the owners, that I speak and they listen. I'm glad they listened to the fans. It was a bad idea and a bad concept. You put those 2 together, they haven't told Ole Gunnar Solskjaer about that. They've betrayed him. Because he thinks he's got a good relationship with them, where he speaks and they listen, but then he's saying this is a bad concept. It's not with sporting merit, and they've had to listen to the fans who were right to stop it. So he's saying, I speak to them and they listen, and what he is also saying is they don't speak to me. They don't tell me what's going on. That's a betrayal of your manager. Solskjaer has been betrayed like everybody else, and I think it came across to me very, very clearly today. I thought he was very, very. He played a very good card today. The owners cannot say that he's thrown them under the bus, but the fans cannot say that he's not with them, and that is the perfect game that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to play at the moment. Because this might resonate with you. I think that when it comes to Manchester United, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has never been in a stronger position. And I think that, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is probably going to be in a job for at least 18 months guaranteed. Now, that might piss people off because they might want to be Ole out or whatever like that. But if you think about this, the Glazers are public enemy number 1, as we know. And they have absolutely betrayed Manchester United Football Club's principles, its fans, its players, its manager. Do you think they are going to be in a position to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer anytime in the next 18 months? Because I don't see a scenario where they can do that. To sack a manager, the fans need to move away from this current problem to focus on a manager and demand he gets sacked and take their eye off the Glazers. And I don't think that's going to happen. And even if it did happen, the Glazers have then got to sack the manager. And not everybody will turn on Ole. And if they did turn on Ole, it would take about 18 months. I don't think a few bad results at the start of next season. I don't think being 6th in the league at Christmas is going to force people to turn their back on Solskjaer and ask the Glazers to do them a favour. Because any sacking now has to get their authority. And we don't recognise their authority. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is probably the most powerful man within Manchester United at the moment because his support in the fan base is untouchable almost. And some of you will say, bollocks, I'm Ollie out anyway, I don't want him, he's not good enough. But it's like Phil Foster says, you've almost got to, and this is a second ask, and I know it's a big ask. Like Phil Foster says, you've got to put Ollie out on the back burner. We're going to struggle with this. If the results go bad, we're going to struggle with this. You think about Glazers out. People are constantly saying to me, why don't you put Glazers out after every tweet? It's because I'm bloody lazy. It's because I'm so busy. I'm so used to writing a tweet and hitting send and I'll forget. And then it's Glazers out in the replies. But what people don't realise is when you're telling me to put Glazers out in the replies, you're hitting the trend anyway because you're putting Glazers out so many times. So, it's all good. But I might struggle with this, but you've got to tell me and I've got to tell you. If we start off next season with 10 losses in a row, you think about this. You think about Glazers out trending on Twitter, right? We've done this loads of times. This isn't a new thing. We've done it. I think it happened in January, happened 4 or 5 times last summer, happened the summer before. It's happened quite regularly, and yet here the Glazers still are. With what happens last summer when we had a crap summer transfer window, I remember saying, and I've said it before, we can't turn on the manager. Remember this moment. This is a crap transfer window because of the Glazers and Woodward. We cannot turn on the manager. Within 6 weeks, Ollie out, get rid of Ollie. Everyone's saying Ollie out. Now, I'm not criticising those people for doing that. I didn't agree with it, but people did it. But the lesson is learned there that you can go from a Glazer out situation, a fanatical Glazer out for position, to Ollie out in a very short period of time. Because when you get back playing football and you're losing to Liverpool or you're 6th in the league, that was yesterday I was bothered about the Glazers. Look at Ollie the Wally, the PE teacher, he's useless. Get him out, Ollie out. I'm not bothered about the Glazers, get a new manager in. And that short-termism is what we've got to be very, very careful about. Because this is what I'm talking about, patience. We're talking about patience, we're talking about unity. You might have to do things you've never done before. You might have to relearn how you support this football club for the short term, for the long term gain. If you ever go Ollie out again while the Glazers are in charge, you basically become pro-Glazer and you basically solve their problem. The best, I was thinking about this evening, the best thing the Glazers could do, if I was advising the Glazers, the best thing I would do is not sign players this summer, let the team suffer, let the toxic things happen, let Pogba run his contract down, which will be a negative thing next season. Don't bring players in. Leave Ollie to drown, because he will drown, because Chelsea will be better, Liverpool will be better, Man City ain't going anywhere. So straight away he's fighting for 4th. Let the results get bad. Let the fans slowly turn against the manager to a point where they're demanding you sack the manager. And then you bring a new manager in and it's like a fresh start again and you're saved. Can you think of a better scenario for the Glazers to get out of this? Because I don't think if they spend 200 million, people will go, oh yeah, you're all right. What they need is a slow burning turning of the situation. Like I said at lunchtime, if we've got 100% of the fans together at the moment, they need to get it down to 90, to 80, to 70. And then when you've got 70% of the fans only trying to get the Glazers out, there's 30% arguing back. Division. Done. So you've got to think about how these things. Pratham says don't give advice. I'm giving them the advice because I'm telling you the advice so you can see it coming. Because I think we are going to have to ride this out. Now, hopefully the bad results won't come. Hopefully we'll keep showing progression. But if the bad results come, you've got to ignore everything in your body that you're used to doing. You've got to ignore the whole let's get Ollie out and get a new manager in. Because if we're going to bring about change, we cannot change the manager before the owner. That's the lesson. That is the lesson. No matter how bad it gets, we cannot change the manager before the owner. Because if we change the manager with these owners, they've got another 3 years. They've got a clean slate. Your mind will automatically go, well, let's give it a fresh start. And we can't allow that. There's loads. And there's 100 other lessons we've got to learn. But that's a big one. We can't have Ollie out of this club before the Glazers. And to do that, we're going to have to stick with him. But Mark, Ollie Ball is crap. I can't take it anymore. Well, Annie, you're going to have to take it because Ollie Ball ain't nothing compared to what the Glazers have done to this club. Ollie stands with Manchester United equals legends, says Ryan. Thank you very much for that, Ryan. Nice to hear. Let's have a look at what else was say. I mean, he was speaking about man management, Ollie, which was very interesting. I mean, I suppose it's a little bit football related. I don't really want to talk about football at the moment. But he spoke about, what else he spoke about? Bad concept, removing the chairman, Ollie in for ages. We spoke about that. Yeah, I mean, look, he spoke about, I don't know what I've written down there. Don't you just love it when you, I can figure it out now. Ollie said it's been a historic period for the fans, the players and the manager. He was speaking about the week really and, you know, whether it's impacted on the players. And I think it has. Of course, I think it has. I think that it's hard enough for the... Look, I've always said this. I don't think it's much of an excuse and we've just got to get on with it. But not having fans in the ground is very different for the players. I think they need the fans more than ever and I think we need them. I can't wait for football to get back to normal where people can be in the ground because there is that. We're almost living in a social media bubble, aren't we? Because the interaction players get is all through social media, whether it's TV, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, Instagram. That's where they get that. They don't get that, real connection. And I think at a time like this, they could So I think the players at the moment, and people are going to laugh at this because you're talking about multi-millionaires who are richer than any of us ever will be and are living the dream, playing for the club that we love. I mean, God, can you think of a better job? Most of us are sat here as United fans. Could you think of a better job? Playing for Manchester United, earning millions and millions of pounds. I mean, to me, the money doesn't matter. Playing for Manchester United. But they are multi-millionaires. They are playing for Manchester United. So what I'm about to say might sound stupid, but they do need an arm around their shoulder at the moment. I think they do need that. I think they've been put into a horrible situation where they're not really able to speak the truth, where they are still employed by dishonest, betrayal people. And yet we can speak openly. We can do what we're doing, and I think they do need that. And I think it would be amazing if that Liverpool game in a week's time was in front of 75,000, because I think the reason these protests tomorrow and in a couple of weeks and a week on Sunday are there is to visually represent our frustration. But if we had 75,000 fans in the ground, we wouldn't need a protest because there's all sorts you can do then. And the players can feed off that. But Ollie was basically talking about coaching and how man management's his big thing, which I think we know. But I think when we hit tomorrow, I'll start talking more about the Leeds game and stuff. But I still feel that we're still in this moment of focus, which is really important. Anyway, let's get some of your questions. Need also to be considered that all the protests should not affect the players and the manager and their performance on the pitch, as Akshay. Well, I think that... I think, again, today I saw credible outlets talking about the protest yesterday at Carrington. I mean, it's a handful, 20, 30 United fans who get into Carrington. They put a banner up. They have a 10-minute chat with Ollie and Matic and everything. And you get some people saying it's disgusting. It's disgusting doing that. It's not the players' fault, this, that and the other. The players won't have given a shit about that. The players won't fear for their safety because there's absolutely no way a Manchester United fan is going to harm a Manchester United manager or a Manchester United player. That's not what this is about. This ain't about tearing things up and, being an anarchy. This is about, they know the players are not at fault and they know the manager's not at fault. If a player comes out and says Joel Glazer's the best in the world, I want him to adopt me, they might have a bit of a problem, but they're still not going to get beat up. Might get the white coats to come and check them and see if they're okay, but they're not going to get beat up. They're not going to get harmed like that. So United players won't be worried about stuff like that. But it's interesting that I was reading today again that it was reiterated that Ollie may well have said Joel loves the club. I reacted to that yesterday. I'm never gonna shirk what I've said. I reacted to that yesterday and I was disappointed. I was like, if he said that, it's really disappointing. But I also said that I don't think he will stand by that. I don't think he really I know he doesn't mean that. But ultimately, I think in a way that's a really positive story if it is true. I don't know why. As I said, we've got to look at where we want to wander into, oh, Ollie's a twat, Ollie out, this, that and the other. But this is a good lesson in why we need to come back from that and go, hold on a minute. No, that even if he thinks that, that's not it. That's Ollie, that's the Glazers, that's Woodward, that's where we look. And Ollie really is important in the battle we're going to go for against them. He's in a difficult position. I think the way he handled it today, if he had said that yesterday, there was certainly no evidence of it in what he did today in front of the press. And I think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has had a very, very, very difficult job over the last 2.5 years. And I think he's learnt a lot in press conferences, but I think everything he's learnt, he is going to have to go up a level again, because it's really difficult at the moment. Sir Alex Ferguson didn't really have this. He did a little bit in the mid-noughties. There wasn't a campaign against the Glazers then, but the mid-noughties compared to 2021 in relation to, did YouTube and Twitter and everything really exist in those days? The power of social media. So Solskjaer's going to have some difficult questions asked of him, and I just think as long as he keeps straight, in a batting term, as long as he keeps playing a straight bat, I can live with that. If he comes out and says the Glazers love this club publicly and we've got to all support them, you're in trouble. You're going to get a bad reaction to that. But if he does that, he's going to mean it, because he knows, whether he said that yesterday or not, he will know the reaction to it, and he will know he can never do that again. And I don't think he believes it anyway. In fact, I know he doesn't. So Solskjaer, I think, very important role, very good role. And he's going to need our support. And I think as long as he keeps playing the clever game, he'll be fine, because he's probably the most powerful person in that club at the moment. And he's the person that we need to keep in that club. Look, if new owners come in, or if we get hold of the club and Ollie underperforms, you sack him. Of course you do. But for now, it's really important that Ollie is almost the symbol of good and the Glazers are the symbol of bad. And Ollie is that person in the club that we need to support. We'll get beat by Leeds 8-0 on Sunday and people will be shouting Ollie out. You can guarantee it, but we won't. This is what's happening with every manager, every freaking manager. Glazers out, Ollie in. Says, hello. We are Red Devils, Mark. Wish we could put their hiding under their beds in America, says we aren't angels. Literally thousands of Arsenal fans protesting outside the Emirates, says Jeff Ryan. And Spotify founder offered to buy Arsenal in the last hour, says Duncan. Yeah, that, you know what? There's two reactions to that. The first one is jealousy, of course. That this is a human trait. I think you always, anger, jealousy, love, passion, everything like that. These emotions, you should always, you shouldn't ignore them. You should understand them. And I'm jealous if Arsenal go and get a new big buyer who ends up being a good owner and wants to invest money in the club. I am jealous of that. Of course I am. But I'm also happy for them that they've removed that man from their club, because what this week has shown me is that football was wronged. Not just Manchester United, football was wronged. And if Arsenal can get their owners out and get a new owner in that's better for them, then well done. Well done. And also, they've got rid of one of the six that I believe all of them need to go. It's not my place to say that, I know, but I think all of them need to go. So I would applaud Arsenal, and it puts the onus on us to do the same. Of course it does. Now, I spoke about 50+1 this morning. I want, really, do I want a new rich owner at Manchester United? Well, it's definitely better than the current situation, but I almost feel that's a bit of a lazy option. I actually think we are trying to push something different. We are trying to get our club back in some sort of control of the fans and never, ever, ever let this sort of thing happen again. And I think that's worth fighting for. We may not get it. We may not get it. We may end up with a new owner. They could be worse than the Glazers. They could be better than the Glazers. And if Arsenal are happy with a new owner that's rich and wants to put money into the club, they maybe end up in a Man City or a Chelsea situation and they're very, very happy. But it doesn't mean that that owner, as good as they are, they might even win a Premier League, but then he still might go, we're going in a Super League. So you still might get screwed over because you haven't got any voting rights. So look, if Arsenal can get Kroenke out, I applaud them. Well done. If they get a big rich owner in, yeah, of course, there's a little bit of me that's jealous. But ultimately, I do think that we should go for the biggest aim. And the biggest aim is this sort of 50+1 model or something similar to that. I do think we should go that. I don't think we should just be focused on getting a new owner in. If we end up with that, you know, it's better than where we are now. But I do think we should go for the main prize here. But what we must do is we mustn't end up in the situation where Arsenal get a new owner and we end up with the Glazers, because then we're going to look really weak. So this is why everything's going to keep coming back to the same thing. Imagine if Arsenal get a new owner and then in 2 years' time we're sat here on a show and people are going, remember 2 years ago we had a really good opportunity. Arsenal got a new owner. Why didn't we, Mark? And I'll go, well, remember what I said at the time? Remember what I said about people starting to argue amongst each other and people allowed it to happen and they started picking sides and they wanted the drama and they wanted the social media drama and they wanted to, you know, divide. That's where it went wrong. You know, I've said this for years. Many of you have said it for years. We've lived in a Manchester United fan base that's been divided for a very, very long time. Is it United at the moment? It's more United than it's ever been. Are there still divisions? Yes, definitely. Are they being worked on? I think so. Can they stay together? I don't know. Are people already starting to try and divide things? Yes. And we've got to put those fires out. Because what a horrible situation and an embarrassing situation and a dangerous situation it would be if we see change at Arsenal and we see the same at Man United. We'll have failed as a fan base if that happens. Do you want to fail? I don't want to fail. I want to see unity. I want to see everybody working together. And that means putting aside your differences, not making it about self-serving practices. Because look, I probably shouldn't say this, but I will say it because it's a good example. If I wanted to really make something out of this for myself this week, there's loads of things I could have done that I turned down. There's a few things I could have done off my own back, like really could have been, you know, turn this into an opportunity for Mark Goldbridge or the United Stand very, very easily. Turned it down, didn't want to do it, didn't try to do it, sort of things. So, yeah, I know how the media works. I know how things work. Easily could have done a few things. And we've seen a few people doing those things at other clubs, you know, we've all seen those examples. But that's not why I've ever done this anyway, but it's also not what I want to do. I don't care about pride. And look, again, there might be a couple of things that you'll never know the United Stand was involved in because I've said I don't think us publicly attached to that actually does it any good. And we've seen that today from TalkSport. You know, Robbie goes on there to talk about getting Kroenke out and ends up with a trending thing about fan channels being a negative. I'm fully aware of that. I'm fully aware of what some media outlets think of us. So I've even said a couple of times this week, we'll back that, but it's got to be privately backed. I can't put the United Stand name to that because it might damage what you're trying to do. Because ultimately, all I want out of this week is I don't want anything, you know, it doesn't make any difference to me whether we get views or whatever like that. That doesn't matter. It is purely and simply about change at Manchester United, and I've never seen an opportunity like this in a long, long time. So you've got to play your part in it, haven't you? Well, that's what I think. I think you've got to play your part in that. It can't be about, can I get myself on Sky Sports for 20 minutes talking about it, shouting and screaming? No, because I could be doing this right here, right now, talking about something, getting ideas, and you know, spreading that message that unity is the key. How much to buy United Stand channel, Mark? All jokes aside, blockchain is the answer and not many people understand about DeFi. We're on Twitter. It says US Stack. Thanks very much, pal. Mark, when you lived in Dublin, you smashed my sister, says William. I doubt it. Best quest was by Samuel. Ollie couldn't respond properly as he couldn't lie to fans. Also, Mark, we like flex, but you should do press reaction, says Swarab. Well, I normally do the press conference reaction, but there's a very good reason why I couldn't do it today. So there you go. Read into that what you like. Some things are more important than doing Ollie's press conference after a week like that. What could be more important than that? We will find out. But I don't know what that best question was. Ollie couldn't respond as he couldn't lie to fans, Swarab. Was it... I don't know what that question was. I heard that he was asked a question about the protests, but he didn't respond. I don't know. Or was he asked the question about whether he said Joel Glazer was a nice guy? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Mark, if new owners come, do you think they will sack Ollie and get Nagelsmann? Jay Lings, you are on a different path. You are on a different planet. What are you talking about? You're talking about new owners that it's going to be very hard to get, and then whether we'll get Nagelsmann. I love it. I love it in a way because it's fantasy. Deliberately, Glazers went for these short-time managers just to buy time. Jose was always a short-term. Moyes was chosen by Sir Alex Ferguson. With Ollie, it backfired. We need to get rid of these useless people, says Amit. Are you going to take down... No, Gunnar, no, I'm not. And United fans, should they protest outside the Tampa Bay Stadium, says David Page. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that because again, that's not my area of expertise. I mean, there's going to look. I don't want to just say there's going to be lots of things the foreign fans can do or the global fans. Do you want to be called foreign fans or do you want to be called global fans? I think global's a better term, isn't it? Because I think some people want to say foreign fans are. There's a negativity towards it. I like the global support because that global to me sounds better than foreign. I don't know why, but maybe you prefer foreign fans. I don't know. But look, these are not set in stone ideas. They're not even happening yet. But one thing I think is really important is that you need to try and what motivates the Glazers. We've seen it this week and we know it anyway. It's money. Money motivates the Glazers. So yeah, everyone wants global, which is great. So money motivates the Glazers. Well, the shirt sales from people in Manchester compared to the shirt sales from the global fans will be probably, I mean, I might even be wrong here, it might be less, but I would say shirt sales from people in Manchester compared to global fans is probably 2% to 98%. Would you say that's about right? 2% of shirt sales are from people in Manchester, 98% are from people globally. Because let's not forget, there's probably more people in the UK who buy shirts than people in Manchester because there's loads of United fans in the UK. So you talk about you can't beat a protest, but what do you think is more damaging? And I'm not saying the protest will be big. If it's anything like what I think it's going to be, the protest on the 2nd will be big. And that's not to say don't go tomorrow if you want to go tomorrow. I don't want to go down that road. I've not said that. I've promoted both. But I just know more about what's happening on the 2nd because it's well organised and it's got a lot more people involved. It's going to be big. And also, it's right before the Liverpool game. I think that just gives it the huge advantage as well. It's the focus of the TV cameras and everything. But look, if you want to go tomorrow, go. But if you think about a protest that's got even 100,000 people there, wow, that's massive. Look at it. Can't believe it. That's huge. It's over in a day, and the Glazers are like, oh my God, that was really embarrassing. Let's go back to whatever else damage we can cause. But if they release a new kit, and it's an Adidas kit, and it looks the dog's bollocks. Oh, that reminds me of the kit from 1993. It's brilliant. Wow, it's amazing. It's the best kit Adidas have ever done. And 98% of the global support say, well, we're not buying it because it's money for the Glazers, and it doesn't sell. Adidas are suddenly knocking on the Glazers' door going, we have not made any money, anywhere near enough money from that top. This is because of you. And the Glazers are like, shit, that sort of thing is really impactful. How you stop it and how you measure it, well, each and every one of you doesn't buy anything from Manchester United. But these are things that we do need to think about, and these are things that we can do. And these are the things that are ultra inclusive. But it takes a bit of time, it takes a bit of patience. There's no kit out at the moment. But I would say be very, very ready for those sort of things because there are things that can be done. And, it's not illegal, is it? It's a choice. It's a protest in a different way. So it's very, very, very important. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. It's been a really busy week and I know everyone's had a busy week. So I do hope that you take some time just to chill, relax and preserve and restore and get ready, because it will be a marathon. It won't be a sprint. And I know that you've all been fantastic this week, and I know that you'll be fantastic in the future as well. But the big message is there a difference between supporters and fans, says Duncan? I don't get involved in this, Duncan. I mean, look, for me, I've never done this. You know, I've been doing this for 5 years. Some people have been with me for 5 years. Some people have probably been here 5 minutes. But I don't do this. It's one of the things I pride myself on. I don't do it. I don't do differentiating supporters, because I don't really see the purpose. And actually, mate, you raise a good question, because if you're struggling for what's the difference between supporters and fans, and what's the difference between global and legacy fans and all this sort of stuff, you're already providing the Glazers with what they need. They need a divisor. They need a divider. They need something to make us not the same. They need something to make us... Because when something's not the same, you automatically inside start to feel, oh, fuck them. You know, it creates the negativity. Look, one thing I'm fully aware of, and one thing I can offer experience on in this very market, is being an outsider, being somebody that's different, being somebody that people don't like for unfair reasons, whatever you want to call it, or being the troublemaker, or whatever. I don't care, because we're living in this different world now. It makes it very, very difficult to get your message across, because you're always fighting against people who are spreading lies and shit like that. And that's because you're divided. If you're united, then your problems are nowhere near as much, and we must be united. We don't need to start talking about which fan is better, or this, that and the other, or they're more important than them. Unity. And as I said, I'll leave you with that, because unity is really important. As I said, I saw it on the Webby O'Neill channel tonight, and they're absolutely right. Unity is the word. Unity is the word. It's only one word you need. Unity. Unity is the word. If you see it anywhere, if you see United fans trying to argue with other United fans, if you see people being victimised by other United fans, call it out. And just, you might even agree with what they're calling it, you might even agree with the argument, but it's not the time for arguments. It doesn't matter whether you dislike the person they're arguing with and you agree with them or anything. Call it out and say, whoa, at this time we need to be united, because any crack will turn into a bigger crack and we'll all fall down it. We need to cement those divisions and stay united. So keep doing it. You're doing a fantastic job. You've done a fantastic job this week. You've made a difference. Let's do it again next week and the week after and the week after. But to do that, the most important thing is unity. And you know what? We've got it in our club name, United, Manchester United. Let's be united. I'll see you in the morning. Have a fantastic day, evening, or whatever you're up to. And let's go for it again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.